The entry point for automotive luxury sits around $100,000, but for the elite, that number is just the floor, with custom-plated commissions reaching as high as $14 million. At this level of wealth, six figures buy you the baseline. Better leather and larger engines are a given. Beyond that, your capital is deployed toward radically different, often conflicting engineering goals. The ultra-luxury market has fractured into highly specialized design philosophies. Choosing between them requires you to accept specific, sometimes massive, lifestyle trade-offs. This quadrant chart maps the boundaries of the market by tracking the two major spectrums of modern automotive engineering. The horizontal axis represents the nature of your investment. Are you funding rapidly depreciating digital innovation or static, traditional craftsmanship? The vertical axis tracks the focus of control. Are you buying a machine engineered to think for the driver, or a cabin built to speak for the passenger? These corners create friction. The daily experience of commuting in a software-driven electric pod is miles apart from navigating an analog, wood-paneled land yacht. Matching a vehicle to your specific lifestyle quadrant is essential. Otherwise, you end up holding an obsolete digital gadget or wrestling with a stressful, undrivable tank. The first philosophy, the high-tech wellness pod, aims to remove the friction of mental fatigue. This category is engineered for buyers who view commute time strictly as a window for biological and mental recovery. The $186,000 Mercedes Maybach S-Class embodies this, tracking your breathing to synchronize seat massage rollers with your respiratory rate, while automatic dispensers cycle custom scents through the air vents. Integration with AI, like the MBUX system, transitions the vehicle from a mechanical transport into a hyper-personalized digital assistant that anticipates your climate and route preferences. Pushing this to the limit brings you to the Tesla Model X, which abandons traditional luxury materials entirely to prioritize autonomous driving and software capabilities. As you can see in this image of the Model X, analog warmth is replaced by a sterile, digitally optimized environment. The conceptual endgame for this quadrant eliminates physical inputs entirely through brain-computer interfaces. Look at this Mercedes AVTR concept. There is no steering wheel. Instead, electrodes record brain activity, triggering vehicle functions through pure thought. This quadrant comes with a hidden compromise: digital degradation. It introduces a cognitive load paradox. Radical features like airplane-style steering yokes and nested touchscreen menus can actually increase short-term driver stress rather than relieving it. The high-tech wellness pod trades the long-term value of the vehicle for the immediate, rapidly depreciating benefit of physical time recovery. The all-terrain palace addresses the friction of the physical world. It's built for the wealthy pragmatist who demands a single vehicle capable of dominating any environment, from desert dunes to city asphalt. The Range Rover SV Autobiography uses automated terrain response systems to scan the environment, adjusting the drive mode so you can maintain high speeds off-road. Yet wrapped around that rugged hardware are absurdly delicate accessories, like the Bentley Bentega's $32,000 fine china and crystal picnic hamper. This image of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan shows the absolute limit of this crossover, combining military-grade geometry with palace-grade opulence. To make this work, massive engineering effort goes into isolating the cabin. Onboard cameras scan the road ahead, preemptively adjusting the suspension so you feel like you're gliding on glass. This simulation shows how that adaptive air suspension artificially flattens a chaotic environment, absorbing violent impacts so the passenger's equilibrium is never disturbed. But the all-terrain palace carries a steep penalty: severe dynamic degradation caused by the sheer mass of the materials. Hauling tons of wood, glass, and steel ruins fuel efficiency, increases braking distances, and makes high-speed cornering an active chore. It also creates a lifestyle irony. Owners almost never utilize the off-road hardware, turning heavy-duty engineering into dead weight when navigating city streets. Buying an all-terrain palace is an exercise in excess, paying for the psychological option to go anywhere, rather than the practical reality of doing so. The final philosophy addresses the friction of commonality. In this quadrant, traditional engineering hits a ceiling, and pricing is driven entirely by status signaling, hyperscarcity, and bespoke art. The Lagonda tariff demonstrates this through hyperscarcity. By capping production to just 120 units globally, the manufacturer ensures the price tag stays in the seven-figure range. Digital screens are stripped out and replaced by analog status materials, such as fiber optic star ceilings, porcelain dashboard roses, and 24-karat gold sinks. This demand fuels a massive coach build market. Vehicles like the Lexani Skymaster take heavy-duty Ford commercial trucks and retrofit them to mimic private jet cabins. Then there is the $1.9 million Carlman King SUV. At this extreme edge of the tier, armor plating and bulletproofing have become standard customer requests. This portrait of the Sultan of Brunei illustrates the buyer archetype for this category: individuals with limitless capital treating cars as extensions of their legacy. The Sultan famously commissioned a Rolls-Royce limousine entirely plated in 24-karat gold for his son's wedding, pushing the price tag to $14 million by prioritizing bespoke aesthetics over aerodynamics. This comes with an extreme performance trade-off. Vehicles like the Carlman King are so heavy with opulence and armor, they struggle to reach highway speeds. The bespoke status piece sacrifices modern agility and financial liquidity to serve exclusively as a rolling, highly personalized vault. Every luxury purchase is a strategic choice about which specific barriers to remove. To find the right vehicle, you have to align your capital with the lifestyle friction you're actually trying to eliminate. This decision flowchart maps the final framework. The starting question is simple: what friction must be eliminated? If your biggest barrier is lost time, you follow the path to time recovery, pointing you to tech pods like the Maybach or Tesla. This route is ideal for executives who need a mobile office. However, it requires you to accept rapid asset depreciation as the software ages. If your biggest barrier is the physical environment, you follow the path to limitless capability, leading to the heavy SUVs. This is the choice for those who demand universal utility and safety, but it requires managing a massive, dynamically compromised footprint in urban spaces. Finally, if your biggest barrier is commonality, you take the path to unmatched exclusivity, arriving at coach builds and armored customs. This path is for those protecting legacy and status above all else, willingly trading speed and practical performance for a piece of rolling art. The greatest mistake in the ultra-luxury market is buying a tech-heavy pod for timeless serenity or an armored land yacht for daily agility. Capital must be directly aligned with specific lifestyle friction to achieve a true return on your investment.